Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, you're so welcome. In this interview, I get to interview actually one of my colleagues, and it's quite a special interview because it's the first one I've been able to do in person. And we actually got to chat to each other in our office, ProSlan's office in Desford. So I think this is quite a unique interview. It is a bit shorter than the usual one, but I think we still managed to pack in all of the relevant and useful information. So I really hope you enjoy this interview. With all these interviews, I just always start with the classic question of who actually are you? What's your name? What did you do at university, like study? And what was your job role?
So I'm Joe McLeod. I was at the University of Nottingham studying chemical engineering. I did a master's, so I did 3 years at uni, then did a placement, and then went back and did my master's year at uni, and then I rejoined ProSlan as a graduate.
Very good. Yes.
And my role was junior project manager on my placement.
Yeah, I feel like with ProSlan, the roles the names are kind of chucked to mine. On my contract, it said trainee project manager.
Yeah, it might be trainee project manager.
But then on the website, it's project engineering manager. So
yeah.
I don't even know what I do. A little icebreaker question to break the ice. So you might have heard this question before, but do you think there are more doors or wheels in planet Earth?
Doors or wheels?
Yeah.
Definitely doors.
Definitely doors. That's strong.
Yeah.
Why?
Or wheels? Oh, that's the thing, because there's a lot of wheels, isn't there?
Yeah.
Are we talking toy wheels? We're talking bikes. We're talking cars. Yeah, there's a lot of different ones. But everyone's living in a building which has multiple doors. No, I'm swaying more towards wheels now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Is there an answer to this? There better be
no,
an answer to
not
this
really.
question.
But I'm a wheels kind of guy. Last person I spoke to, she was a food scientist, and she was like, "I'm taking a food science spin." And she spoke about wheels of cheese, and like thinking about those kind of things as well.
That's a good answer.
I like that kind of answer. Yeah. How would you describe your role to a placement student looking to apply to it? How would you describe that role to someone?
So the role, I think as we mentioned, the title doesn't really cover it. The role, what I did was generally, we'll have a project, and there's a lot of different elements of it. All of us will work together and do all of those elements between us. We'll balance the time, sort of how we need to. And it depends what type of project you're on. So we do projects from early feasibility all the way to implementing kit. So that role can be, if you're in a feasibility, it can be doing capacity models to specify what sort of equipment or factory is needed, doing concept layouts on AutoCAD. Obviously, with all this management element, there's an element of running meetings with clients, gathering information, and scoping stuff out. And then on the later, more implementation side, there's sort of managing contractors and managing meetings. A large part of the role is managing communications between people. I'd say it's one of the biggest parts.
What do you reckon you found most challenging out of those things you just described?
I've definitely got a preference more towards the feasibility side of stuff. There's a lot more, you can put a lot more of your own ideas and stuff into it. The on-site stuff is also a lot of fun. Generally, you get more responsibility in that side of things. You're having a bigger direct impact on projects. Can be a little bit more stressful, but equally it definitely can. But equally, it's a useful opportunity too. But I think for me, I enjoy particularly doing capacity models and doing concept layouts. It's always a lot of fun.
That's interesting. So I find so when I was looking for placements, one of the things I kind of wish I knew was what like a typical day looked like for someone. And like with ProSlan, I kind of thought I'd be in the office all the time.
Yeah.
But can you describe? So what was it like with ProSlan? Obviously, yours had a bit of COVID involved. But what was like a typical day like? You can maybe take us through like an office day and then an at-home day.
Yeah. So. And probably an on-site day as well.
And an on-site day,
So when I started, it was largely in the office with some internal stuff, managing some internal projects. So a lot of that, we're very friendly company. A lot of us do work remotely or work on site. So we have a reasonable size office, but the majority of people aren't in at one time.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, the office was more used. So. Yeah, it's quite a friendly environment. You do some work, generally have some conversations, play a game of pool.
That's where the camera is right now, pool table.
So that's generally office work, and generally we would have been more in the office when we were on feasibility stages or when we're not really needed on site. On site, it's a lot of managing in-person meetings, managing in-person communications. Sometimes going into an area, measuring up equipment.
Lots of
going,
photos.
Lots of photos. Yeah, photos are always essential. And sort of managing contractors or helping out contractors and just generally helping the project progress efficiently. I suppose there's the at home, which is largely the same as at the office, but you're closer to your own fridge, which is always nice.
Yeah, absolutely, and a coffee machine.
Yeah,
which is very nice.
I mean, I have a kettle, but
you're a tea kind of guy.
No, I'm just an instant coffee person.
Oh my goodness! Right, interview over right now. No, I'm joking. What did you most enjoy? So obviously you've basically been doing the same role, but obviously with a bit more responsibility now that you're a graduate. But what did you most enjoy about the role on the replacement?
I think that it depends. The role, the company, I absolutely loved, which is one of the big things that drew me back. On the role, I just enjoyed the level of responsibility you're given. You had impacts on huge sort of projects. Yeah, feasibility projects for brand new multi-million-pound sites that I was leading that project, doing the face-to-face with the clients. Obviously, you've always got the support from the team when you need it, but you get given a lot of responsibility and you have a really big impact.
Yeah, no, that's I think what I noticed with particularly, I don't know if it's every smaller company, but with especially Protolan, we get a lot of responsibility from day one.
I'd agree. I think with a smaller company, you've always got a wider, because there's less people, everyone has to do a wider range of things. Yeah, that's what you see. We get involved in all the different work structures, like you and me doing the sustainability work stream. And you get a say in how the company's run, different elements. Exactly. You get to voice your opinions about the whole company, and the role is very diverse. And it's not the same, but I have heard in bigger companies you can get more down one path.
Yeah, one
thing you have to do.
So one of the first people I interviewed worked for Jaguar Land Rover.
Yeah,
as a design engineer, and it sounded really cool because he was in the factory looking at these clay models of the cars, but his area was just designing like the front end, what it looked like for a specific car coming out in like 2030 or something. So it's very specific, whereas ours is like a much more umbrella role.
Much wider project.
So difficult question to answer then is, what sort of maybe were the two core skills that you needed on your placement year in this role?
I think one, being adaptable, being able to learn, adaptability and being able to learn new things, because there's a lot of, every project we go on is different. Every project has different scenarios, different challenges. So you have to be adaptable. I think that's a key one. Generally, there's a lot of management and communication parts. I think communication is a big part of our role, and without it, projects fall apart. So I think communication is definitely a key one for project management, whether it be an early stage, late stage. It's falls apart without it.
Here's an interesting question. Why did you decide to go into project management straight away rather than doing like a chemical engineering role?
I guess I've never really enjoyed too much the very academic side of it, the more theoretical side of chemical engineering. And I think just going on to, I've always been interested in food. It's one of the reasons I joined Protolan. And it was just a really good company based locally that I joined. And I think one of the ones about Protolan that, if anyone's ever looked at joining, you probably knows, is it's quite hard to understand what the role actually means to begin with. It is one you learn as you start, and obviously it works well for me because I came back on a graduate one, and it's something I've really enjoyed.
One more question, which I think I asked Jess last week, which is, what about the food manufacturing industry kind of excites you, and why do you think it's a good place to work?
I think it's so fast paced. It's the project we get on projects, and this needs to be done in a few months. It's not like some industries, nuclear or pharmaceuticals, something like that, where there's really long processes to it. It takes years to develop a project. This is, no, we're building this new factory, or we need this new equipment, and it needs to be in within a matter of 12 months is normally. So normally really that's a long project. Reasonably long projects. Generally get condensed into about a year, and smaller projects even less time than that.
Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to talk in the office. So that's it. That's the interview. Sorry, it's quite an abrupt ending. I didn't really sign it off very well, but never mind. Thank you so much to Joe for joining me on this interview. I think it was really interesting to get his perspective on the role. I will certainly be giving my perspective on my placement year once I finish. So it'll be interesting to compare, but I think what he said was really helpful. I really hope you found it really helpful as well. Hopefully it gives you a bit more clarity on what a project manager actually does. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.